this is a week late, but hey, better late than never, right? But in any case, this will be my episode review to the Oval Season 1, Episode 12, entitled Hidden Secrets. Pretty sure that's the title. But in any case, wow, what is there to talk about that hasn't already been discussed in other videos on other channels? Let me put it, excuse me, let me put it this way. This episode was something else. I don't even know what to score it. The first chunk of the episode I felt was a bit lacking. The fact that we just spent so much. This episode reminded me of episode 1 in the sense that we spent a lot of time at Nancy's house. I feel like that's the best way to sum it up. It didn't really pick up for me anyway until like the back half of the episode with Victoria's mother showing up and burying the knife and of course that cliffhanger, which I still cannot watch without covering my eyes. So all I really hear is Hunter talking from the bathroom, and then when he gets to the room and I hear that the head fall off and then that was it. Like I couldn't watch that. No. But in any case, this episode was something else. The first chunk, like I said, it was just a lot of time spent at Nancy's, reeling from Tally taking her own life, and then the fact that she's left a huge mess all over everything. And Nancy, who has a bad heart, if you remember from like episode 4 or 5 when it was mentioned, basically is having a what do you want to call it? Is that a panic attack or asthma attack or something? She needs to get her inhaler, which is unfortunately in her purse, which was unfortunately right near Tally. So there's a bunch of her bodily fluids, well, mainly like her head fluids in parts of her head all over the purse. And like Richard and Barry are freaking out. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, I don't blame them. Like I wouldn't be able to really touch that stuff anyway, but you're in a house that's close. I mean, you were in like the dining room, which is close to the kitchen. So, I mean, towel, washcloth, and like what do you call that? A kitchen glove or whatever. If you're getting something hot out the oven, just something to get the inhaler out. So when they finally get the inhaler out, I'm just thinking to myself, they don't get it in time. Hell, you might have another dead body in your house. Nancy's sitting down using it, and it didn't look like she was actually using it. It felt like, she just had it in her mouth, but it wasn't like, the pushing of the button or anything, to actually give the medication. So basically they want to call the police, but Barry doesn't call the police. I mean, literally, I'm summing up like the first 17 minutes in like 3 minutes. Basically, Barry doesn't call the police because of the fact that the police are still coming after him for starting something at Kareem's pharmacy. Sharon's getting phone calls about how the pharmacy isn't open. It's like the beginning of the month, and a lot of people are out there waiting for their medicine. And I'm like, I know this was something I kind of criticized early on in the series, and somebody in the comments or on Twitter was like, well, it's not uncommon for small pharmacies to only have like a couple of employees, but this is Kareem's pharmacy, this family pharmacy or whatever. We know Sharon works there, but there isn't anyone else. Like, there isn't a minimum of like 5 people to kind of rotate, because like if one person takes a vacation, does the other person have to hold down the fort themselves, or what's going on with that? Like, I would think there would be some kind of rotating staff, maybe during each part, like during each week, somebody would take half the day, or some people work full days. So I think that's very weird to only have like one person. Not to mention, during the beginning of the month where there are a lot of customers, you would think there would at least be 2 people on staff. I don't know, but Sharon's getting an attitude from him, and then of course she's going to work, and Barry's not pleased about that. And then Nancy goes on once again about the whole flipping knife thing, and but they do make a good point about Barry, like, the more you push yourself away and act like an ass towards the ones who love you, you're going to find yourself alone. So later on in the episode, where Sharon actually goes to work, and then Kareem gives her attitude, not only because she wasn't there on time, but also he was holding down the fort himself. And then his girlfriend broke up with him because she found a photo of Sharon in his belongings, and he goes on about how I'm still not over you. And then she's stressed, and he begins to rub her neck, and they start making out. Now, I'm not saying that Sharon's right for cheating, but at the same time, grief, because, well, there was a dead body in the house this morning. Not to mention, on top of that, huge fright from Barry, who's being an ass as always. And then, she obviously was pushed into the arms of another man. Well, her ex, not forcibly, but at the same time, looking at the alternatives, it's like, you know what, screw Barry, and then that was the end of that. So, yeah. What are my thoughts? I will do a Barry video, probably like what's wrong with Barry or the problem with Barry, because he is probably, I mean, believe it or not, I think more people dislike Barry than they dislike Kyle. So that says something. Now, let me add that to my. I got my list right in front of me right now. Just 1 minute. Barry problem. I'll record that video next. I feel like I need to give y'all a double dose of Oval to kind of make up for me not recording this earlier. But in any case, guys, I feel that when it comes down to it, we need to think about the fact that Barry, I get where he's coming from, the sense that you're never around when I need you. But at the same time, Barry, you have to look at it from the perspective that you're not really around either, because you are quick to run off and look, where's my daughter? It's like you don't think things through. So like when everybody's trying to be rational, come up with a plan, you're the first one to just run out there because we're just standing around here doing nothing. My daughter's still out there. And then even though Sharon is going to work, we're still, unsure about the whole drug thing. Nobody else in the house is working. We finally, what was it? The episode before, or the United Front, right? That was when it was said that Richard would get his job back, finally. But at the same time, he doesn't know that yet. So he's not working. Nancy isn't working, to my knowledge. I don't think she has a job. Barry, who knows what the hell he does. And Sharon's the only one in that damn house who's working. So her not being able to go to work, because honestly, there's a lot of drama going on at the house. But at the same time, there's nothing she can really do. So she's going to go to work. And yeah, I can see both sides of the argument, but at the same time, from a logical standpoint, all four of us don't need to be here right now. If Barry would have called the freaking cops, then this thing would have been, handled. It's crazy. So anyway, we have Bobby and Kyle talking, and Bobby finally leaves, and Kyle, I mean, honestly, I don't really care about this. Then we have a scene between Lily and Bobby, and Lily, shoot, she changed her dress, and she has an attitude, so I don't really have much to say about that either. Then we go on to the freaking White House. Basically, I've been skipping around, but can we just get to Victoria's mother? Like, Eartha Kitt, honestly, she had the same demeanor, the same, vocal tone. Definitely felt like I was watching, the Adam West Batman, because remember, Eartha Kitt was like one of the 3 different actresses to portray Catwoman. And not only that, of course, The Emperor's New Groove, and then the series The Emperor's New School, Eartha Kitt was Yzma on that series. And all I could think about was Boomerang, like, Marcus. Okay, what are the biggest takeaways from this? Number 1, we already saw that over the phone, Victoria's father is enough to put Victoria and Hunter in their places where they are on their best behavior. Victoria is acting towards her mom like Jeffrey used to act towards Veronica during the early seasons of the Haves and the Have-Nots before he put his foot down. So that says a lot. And I mean, the thing about it is, Victoria causes Veronica levels of hell for other people. Yet when her mom is around, she is a child. That is something else. And we know that she has multiple siblings too, so I wonder how they turned out. But in any case, Victoria's mom is privy to privy? Is that the right word? She's aware of what's going on in the White House. Like, you yelling, screaming, breaking priceless things. And the fact that, Hunter has that whore running around here, and you need to get your children in line, your daughter. And I heard about the mishap that happened, basically, Piggy's crew being killed, and then Jason flashing people around here. And the way she reacted, I'm kind of like, Granny, are you attracted to your grandson? Or at least find him, well, he is, muscular and all, but I think that's a bit creepy. So that might explain that possibly Victoria's brother, remember, because Gail said her uncle has done what those guys were about to do to me, so she's probably been taken advantage of by relatives and may have been on Victoria's side. I don't know. But long story short, the mom is like, you better get this shit in line, because if I have to come down here again, I want to kill somebody. And basically she wants to go to lunch, with the family to, go out in the public. And Victoria gets the kids, and that's the end of that. I mean, her scene was like my favorite of the entire episode. But later on in the episode, looking through my notes, we get the Denise coming over because Kyle arranged it. And honestly, I've talked about this in a couple of videos. Didn't I do like 3 videos on who killed Denise? Did Victoria kill Denise? And did Hunter hallucinate? Basically, Kyle talks to Sam about closing down the cameras in the West Wing for a certain amount of time. And Sam knows that, something isn't right about this, but he's like, fine, because he just feels like, somebody should keep the president in line. But Kyle's like, wait, what? And he's like, never mind, let's do it. So he cuts the cameras off. Next thing you know, Hunter is impressed because I believe there was a scene between Hunter and Kyle earlier in the episode where he pretty much tries to give him the max speech about the Denise situation. But Kyle's very agreeable, like, oh, sir, you're the most powerful man in the world, so you can have whatever you want. Denise is there because Kyle arranged it, so the first family is gone for an hour. Hunter is like, wow, this is amazing. Oh, God. And she's in, like, chains and everything. I'm like, wait, what? So, yeah, they do what they do. And he gets up. Denise is happy because all the money that was made from the inside information that Hunter gave her. And he talks about how he wonders how Kyle handled this or got this done. Comes out, then boom, head fall off. And then that's the end of that. So what are my thoughts on the episode? I think it was a pretty good episode to go out on for the most part. I do think that way too much time was spent with the Nancy at Nancy's house. I'm honestly over it. Yeah, and I didn't really talk much about the Barry and the money in the box because I was actually going to go over that more in the problem with Barry video. But I remember not watching the episode live last week, but I remember going on Twitter and more people were talking about Barry putting the knife in his pocket than the Denise beheading. For real, I am not lying. When I went, I saw the Oval and Sisters trending, and I'm like, whoa, I'm not used to seeing this. And then Barry put the knife. So, you can interpret the money and the knife scene 2 ways. Some people are saying that Barry was so surprised that, obviously he had no idea what was going on because the money and the knife didn't belong to him. Another way of looking at it is, oh, shit. It was like that episode of SpongeBob, The Squeaky Boots, which is based off the story Edgar Allan Poe's A Telltale Heart, where it's like, you commit a crime, but then next thing you know, it's coming back to haunt you because you hear the heart under the floorboards or whatever. It's like, let's say, for example, I don't know how to say, I know this is a crude example, but let's say I have a baseball bat. I go out there, I smash someone's head in and leave the bat somewhere random. And then maybe I come home and like 3 nights later or 3 days later, I mysteriously find the bat under the bed and it's like, ah! So it's kind of like, if Barry did take the knife and did stab someone, Ruth, whatever, if he stabbed someone and then next thing you know, the knife mysteriously popped back up in the house, yeah, something is wrong with that. So I don't think that's the knife that I don't think he used the knife. I think Sharon has something to do with this. And I've already done like multiple Sharon videos throughout the season because I'm like, something's just not right because she makes it clear that, there's so much drama and Barry's accusations could be right about her being happy that Callie's gone and Ruth is dead because that means she has Barry all to herself. But with Barry being an asshole, she's probably like, this isn't even worth it. So I'm going to go with Kareem. And yeah, and why would you put a bloody knife in your damn pocket? That's just so stupid. That reminds me of this one time. I know that I'm going to end this video for a story. And before I do, you know the drill. If you are new, hit that subscribe button. Make sure to check out my Oval playlist. I have an entire playlist of videos from all the episodes, different theories, some trailer breakdowns. I didn't do them all. Also, my links to the social media are in the description box below. Hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss out. And let me get into this story real quick. This was like in middle school. I want to say 7th or 8th grade. Back during the days where PE was kind of split during the semester, where half of the semester was like health and you were in the classroom watching videos, taking tests and crap. And then the other half of, the semester was actual physical education, like going outside, running, playing baseball, that kind of stuff. So I remember it was during the health portion. There was this kid, and I remember back in those days, like, what was it, like tardies? If you get like 3, it's a yellow slip or something like that, 3 or 5, I forget. But this guy was on his last one, so he gets to class late. He's getting written a yellow slip. While he's waiting at the desk for the the coach to write the yellow slip, there's some smoke coming from his pocket, and one guy's like, hey man, there's smoke coming out of your pocket. So, oh shit. So basically this guy was late because he was outside smoking a cigarette. Obviously this is middle school, too young to smoke. So he, for whatever reason, had the lit cigarette that the cigarette that he didn't put out all the way. hidden in his pocket, and his coat was on fire. Yeah, so that reminded me of burying the knife. It's like you see this bloody knife, yet you're going to put your fingerprints on the knife. Let's just assume the bloody knife is not his. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe did he put the knife away because it wasn't? I don't know. I could be wrong. But either way, you're going to put your fingerprints on this knife in your pocket, and then the cops show up to arrest you. Barry, I don't know what to do with you. But that's the end of that. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. What would I score the episode? Probably like a 8 out of 10, believe it or not. I feel like that is a bit too high, but Victoria's mother stole the show, and despite me not being a fan of gore, that was one hell of a cliffhanger to go out on. Not to mention, you know, the excitement of the show coming back in a few months, and we get a 2-hour event. You really can't top that. So with that being said, talk in the comments about it. I got more Oval content on the way. And what was your least favorite part of the episode? Honestly, kind of like on Sisters, you know how the only storyline I care about is Andy, Gary, and Jasmine. I don't really care about the Sabrina, Karen, or Danny stories. It's the same thing with the Lily arc in the Oval involving Kyle, Donald, and Bobby. I honestly do not care.